Here we are.
Back in the studio.
Back in the studio. A later evening podcast.
Yeah, because we're waiting for Erik to get on from Maui.
Yes, our friend.
I'm not sure. Well, he's in Hawaii.
Doctor of neurosurgery basically his residency is
from Portland,
Oregon.
I'm just going to complete your sentences.
Yeah, thanks.
That's how this works over here.
No, Erik's a cool dude, and he finally gets to have a nice little break vacation and actually headed to Hawaii. So we want to...
Well, he planned it out right because I think they had some big things that they were working on, and he's double vaccinated.
Yeah, plus they got double vaccinated, him and his girlfriend, so that's cool.
So yeah, they're traveling responsibly.
Yep. So we want to live vicariously through him, and we're going to see what kind of awesome scenery he can provide for us in the background, if at all, while he's on the conference call with us. So
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's get this started, and hopefully everybody enjoys. It should be a fun, interesting conversation, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Awesome. One more thing to share before we get into the show. Luna 10 is your code for discounts on the Luna Moon lip balm making brand. And you'll find that on Luna Moon Sup, SUPyoga.com. Go to the retail page and you could order the brand new lotion bar combo with the lip balm, maybe some merch. Go check it out. Welcome to the show, Wave On. I'm Misty, the host, here in Sylvan Lake, Michigan, and I've got Erik on the line, and he was actually part of the episode number 1, and we had him call in, and he wanted to do part 2, where he's in Hawaii, and he is in full vacation mode, and I'm dying to talk to him. All the things, whether it's between surfing, vacation, and maybe a little bit of we'll throw in some medical science information in there. Maybe he'll blow our mind again. What do you think?
Welcome back, Erik.
Hey, welcome, Erik. Good to have you.
Yeah, this is weird and awesome.
I know, isn't it? It's honestly, it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I just hope that everything is working right here, right now.
Looks like it.
I think so.
And we got a barking dog outside, so yeah, I think we're good.
That would make it complete. So what island are you on?
We're on Maui.
Oh, you're on Maui. Nice.
I love Maui. If I ever get back there one day.
Have you been to Hawaii before?
Yeah. Kihei. Kihei is where we stayed. And just traveled the whole thing, did the road to Hana, and snorkeled quite a bit. And actually, there is a place, it's probably still blacked off right now, and it was in one of those, the Ultimate Guide to Hawaii book. They're blue books, and it was a couple that went around and traveled the islands and wrote about places to stay, eat, and things that you wouldn't normally know about. And one of the spots in the book was a fishbowl, and you would have to hike across lava rock to get to it, and it was the best snorkeling spot. It was literally what it was called, fishbowl.
Huh.
Yeah.
And we there's this cove near where we're staying. That my girlfriend knew about. She's been here before, and it was all rocks. There's no sand, and there was this little rock formation that made this cubby, and it was perfect to get in.
Yeah.
But you had to get in timing yourself with the tide, so that there wasn't a rush of water coming in when you got in. So you would wait until the waves kind of died down, then you paddle out.
Yeah.
And then you'd be out in the bay, and it's fine, and there's sea turtles everywhere.
Wow.
But then to get back out, you had to time yourself with one of the waves that came through, so it would kind of wash you in to this little rocky spot, and then you just get out. Oh
my gosh, that's so cool.
I was nervous to do that, and then it was one of the coolest things I've ever done.
Wow. So it was surfing? You took what kind of board was it? Or?
Oh, no, this was just snorkeling.
Oh, it was just snorkeling. Okay, I got it. I wasn't sure if you paddled out a little bit, on a paddleboard, and I don't know. I just envision a paddleboard in there somewhere.
Of course you do.
What can I say?
How's the surf right now?
It's been on and off. We've been having like a lot of activities, so I haven't made surfing my main thing, but I did surf at a place called Ironwood,
Okay.
which is not very far from Honolulu Bay, which is probably the more famous spot. And it was awesome.
Cool.
It's so different than surfing in Oregon.
Yeah, I bet. Shh. How's the water temperature?
I think it's like in the high 60s, so it's like pretty comfortable, especially when the sun's out.
Yeah.
But if you stay in for a long time, you do kind of start to get a little cold.
Yeah.
Okay. And the waves
Not
are
like
probably pretty big right now, right?
Actually, they're smaller, and everyone
Really?
says that the waves are bigger in the summer.
Hmm.
So, like when I was driving around yesterday, my girlfriend got like a facial at the Ritz Carlton,
Nice.
and while she was doing that, I was thinking I'd maybe go surfing or check out some beaches, but everything was flat.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So
Interesting.
I just checked out different places.
That's cool. Do you so are you doing like the road to Hana and stuff like that too, or just
Yeah, we did that on Monday. We
Okay.
did the road to Hana. Saw this beach that had black sand.
Yeah, I remember that.
There a little bit. Checked out some other like random little turnoffs. Went to like a couple arboretums where they have like different kinds of trees and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm trying to think what else we did. Tuesday was the day I surfed, and then yesterday, can't remember what we did yesterday.
That's good. That means you're having a good vacation.
What about whale watching?
Any whales? See any spouts blowing out in the water?
Yeah, it's like a joke. There are whales everywhere.
Wow.
Like we went snorkeling on Sunday on this snorkeling thing, but there's just whales everywhere. So it was like we went snorkeling, but it was effectively whale watching. There were whales that came right to our boat.
Wow.
And when I was surfing on Tuesday, I could see out in the distance whales going off. And at one point, this whale just like breached out of the water, and I could see its like dark topside, and it turned while it was in the air, and I could see its underside, and then it splashed. in the
Oh
water.
man, that's so cool. Jeez.
That's so cool.
No, it's completely ridiculous
Yeah.
how many whales are here.
Wow.
I guess they breed this time of year.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
Yes.
you're there at a good time.
Yeah, they're there
Yeah.
until about I think May. May might be the latest, but
Yeah, and sea turtles go to any like cove, and they're sticking their heads up out of the water.
cool.
It's the coolest things I've ever seen. I didn't expect it to be so like abundant.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of people around?
I mean, it's a fair amount, but it's definitely not crowded. I don't know what it's like when it's not a pandemic, but I imagine that this is probably light compared to normal.
Right.
Like all the restaurants are operating with like tight rules, so like their seats are half full, but it's not like there's huge lines to get in. So I think it's definitely less than normal. It's not like there's no one here.
Right.
Right.
When I was surfing, there was just a few people in the water. It's not crowded. I don't, like I said, I don't know what it's like normally.
When you
Yeah.
got off the plane, did you have to show your vaccination card or anything to customs or anybody? Or
No, Alaska Airlines has a really good system where they pre-check you.
yeah.
So we had to get tested and fill out paperwork online,
Okay.
and you upload it to like the state of Hawaii's system that they call Safe Travels.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the airport, at least with Alaska, they like you pull up all those documents and they look at it, and they ask you the routine questions like, "Do you feel sick right now?" And you say no. Assuming you don't, which you probably don't.
Mhm.
And then they just put a tag on her, or like a wristband on us.
Yeah.
And then so when we arrived in Hawaii, everyone else had to go, like people coming off of other planes had to go in this long line. And because we were already pre-checked, I guess, we just walked off and left the airport.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, that's great. Was there a lot of people on the flight?
Yeah, it was completely full.
Wow.
And they're not doing the middle seat thing anymore.
Wow.
They're just doing masks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a single mask or a double mask?
Single mask.
Single mask.
Right on. So how do you feel with both vaccinations done in your body?
I think it's good. I feel safer, but there was some data that came out recently that at least the South African variant and I think it was the Brazilian variant showed some definite decreased efficacy
Yeah.
to the vaccine. So you could still get sick, like still half the people who are vaccinated could still get sick with those, but the vaccine still prevented you from getting like severely ill.
Right. Which one did you get, the Moderna or the Pfizer?
We both got Pfizer.
Oh, okay.
Would you have any recommendation about, because of course everyone has their preference based on, I don't know, whatever they hear in the media or news between the brands?
I think if you're offered any of them, you should take them.
Yeah, right. That's true.
But it does seem like Pfizer and Moderna have the best data and the best efficacy. It seems like all the other ones are a little less, but even those are still high. But no one knows how the new variants are going to affect any of them individually.
Right.
But I think the data I was talking about, I think that was for the Pfizer one.
Yeah.
That it wasn't as protective against those particular variants, but who knows? They're not all tested against it.
Right.
So maybe some of the ones that started off not being as efficacious might end up being better for those ones, or who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they all give you some level of protection.
Yeah.
Right. Have you heard of the I'm assuming he might be a little bit famous, but Dr. Angus? Have you heard of him?
No.
He had a whole spiel about the vaccines and sort of like a prediction about how things are going to kind of unfold as people do get the vaccine, and how you should, still mask and things like that even down the road, because we're not going to know who's vaccinated or what stage or level they are at. But, it's sort of like just slowly crawling out of the dungeon, And he mentioned the Johnson & Johnson ones, the single dosage. Do you have any like insight at all about single versus double?
I think the most important thing is to get one of them.
Yeah.
I think it's irresponsible to not get one, and it almost doesn't matter what the efficacy is.
Yeah.
I think the Johnson & Johnson one, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think its overall efficacy was a little bit lower. But
yeah, I think it was hovering around 65 to 75%, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
And maybe if you did 2 doses of that, maybe it would work out better after the second dose, because you get, like with the Pfizer one, you get somewhere around the high 40s, so like approaching 50% just with 1 dose.
Yeah.
And then it boosts you up to the 90s with the second dose. So I would imagine if you did 2 of the Johnson & Johnson one, it'd probably be stronger.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't tested that way.
No.
Who knows what kind of games these companies are playing? Because it's possible. I don't actually know if this is the case, but it seems possible to me that Johnson & Johnson was probably a little bit behind the 8 ball and saw that the Pfizer one was going to be 2 doses, and knowing that that's a struggle, that they were like, well, if we just aim for a 1-dose vaccine, people will prefer that, and maybe we'll buy that one.
Right.
Because I feel like all these guys also have money. I mean, there's a money component too.
Right. There's a marketing finger in this whole deal too, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, so I think to achieve like herd immunity, I think they were expecting that we have to be like 65 to 70% vaccinated.
Yeah.
So any vaccine that approaches that number if everyone in the world got it, and then we would achieve herd immunity. So
Right.
90 is overkill.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take some time for sure. I mean, I know there's inklings of our companies and corporations here that will probably get their allotment and then have people come through and get the vaccine. We did that as just the regular flu shot this past fall. They had us come through the visitor parking structure, and they had inoculation setups. You just drive through, stick your shoulder out your car window, and they tag you, right? So I think they'll probably do the same thing here. When I would assume spring is what they're feeling that we could get make that happen. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I volunteered at a vaccination, like a mass vaccination thing a week or two ago. I guess it was 2 weeks ago. It was coordinated between like the Port of Portland and OHSU, so my hospital, and a couple other organizations. And it was a drive-through.
Yeah.
It was for people who fit the tier 1A or whatever, which I guess is older people and healthcare workers.
Yeah.
And healthcare workers wasn't very strict. Like there were people who did like psychiatric work who were able to get vaccinated, and people who worked in nursing homes. It's pretty broad.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had people just drive through. They'd get registered, pull up, and we had a computer system and just stick a vaccine in our. We were doing Moderna for that.
Gotcha.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I also heard that if you volunteer, at least here, I think because they're lacking volunteers, so if you volunteer, you get the vaccine at the end of the day.
Yes. Yeah, that's how ours worked too. Like any of the volunteers were. They were moved into tier 1A, regardless of what their actual occupation was.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to be like only doctors and nurses, I think, or people who are otherwise trained to give shots were allowed to volunteer as vaccinators. But if you volunteered to like direct the cars or like take registration, like anyone can do that, and all those people were able to get their vaccines.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
That's cool.
It's tempting.
That makes sense. And it's nice because even if they're people who otherwise wouldn't have gotten it, I mean, they're obviously volunteering their time to contribute to make it happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How is everything else going at the hospital? Not to talk about really work while you're on vacation. Maybe we should just stop with that. While I'm looking at the palm trees behind you, right. Swaying in the wind.
Yeah, everything's going good. I worked hard in March to try to finish a draft of a paper I was writing. So I was able to give that to all the co-authors on the day before we left.
Cool.
So that was like one of my goals, so that I could come here and just not be doing anything.
Yeah, very well-deserved vacation there.
Yeah.
And how awesome that you don't have to fly as far as you do from Detroit to get to Hawaii.
Yeah, right.
I know. Yeah, that was one of the things I had to come to Hawaii while I was living in Portland, because I don't know where I'm going to end up in a year and a half, and most likely if I'm either going to stay on the West Coast or move farther away from Hawaii. So I feel like I had to go.
Yeah, for sure. And that's your first time going there?
Yeah, this is my first time. It was a 6-hour flight, which is about a little bit longer than when I fly home.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because, well, and not only that, but you're kind of going into the wind a little bit. Going out versus coming
when I fly
back home.
From Portland to Detroit, it's like a 4.5-hour flight.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go back, it's usually like 5.5 hours. So yeah, it'll probably be like a 5-hour flight back to Portland from here on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be so nice to like travel again one day.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that you can't right now. It's all a matter of preference, and based on situations and things like that. It'll be nice to do it like how we used to, I guess, if we can ever get there, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's a longer off. That's farther off than we all want it to be, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
And instead, I'll just imagine palm trees. I have actually a little string of palm tree lights like above where you're at. That's my reality. Was this little fictitious setup?
Yeah. Little
You could
luau.
rent an RV. You could rent an RV and go on a big ass road trip.
Well, we
have thought about that.
we're working on it. I acquired the first part of that scenario. Just picked up a new Jeep Gladiator pickup truck on the last day of the year on New Year's Eve day. So yeah.
We like to watch YouTube videos of other people traveling with pop-up campers.
Yeah, or teardrop campers. So I think I think that's kind of what I'm looking at towards the spring, early summer is I'm doing a lot of research, and I want to try to get us a really cool teardrop camper that we can also like put the paddle boards and kayaks on top of or inside of while we do a road trip. So yeah, pretty stoked to future plan for that.
You know the comedian, Tom Green?
Yeah.
Right now he's doing van life. And if you know him really well, you know he had this like makeshift studio way back in the day, like in the 90s or whatever, and before he got like really popular. And he literally just taught himself how to like basically podcast and make his own studio, but it was pre-podcasting.
Yeah, he was one of the early
Like,
inventors
creators.
of podcasting before there was podcasting. He's one of the founders or
And so
godfathers,
now,
right?
yeah,
So-
now he's doing it out of his van because he just like left LA and he's just like traveling around and like desert areas that no one really ever sees. And he shows the videos. He has a drone. He's got his podcast equipment with him and everything. And it's like no one is around. It's almost like the border of Mexico. Well, lately it's been like almost the border of Mexico
in Arizona, or New Mexico.
Yeah, New
stuff,
Mexico. Yeah.
Southwest. Yeah.
So it's been fun to watch anyway.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he seems like an oddball.
Oh yeah, totally.
Very
Yeah.
peculiar.
He's got a pet dog now with him, so he's got company while he's doing these crazy road trips. But yeah, he does all this production, and he has his YouTube channel, and he just posts it all as he puts it together and stuff. So it's pretty cool, pretty inspiring.
Yeah. It's been
That's
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
He had some. There was some interview I saw of him from a couple years ago when he was on like Drew Barrymore's show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was apparently like they branded it as like the first time they had talked in like
Yeah, since they
10
got
or 15
divorced.
years
Yeah,
since
since
they
they
broke
got
up or something.
since they got
Yes.
divorced. Yeah,
Yeah,
because they
I
were
did see
married.
that.
Yeah, right.
That's so wild. They were a couple.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, how is Portland going?
Yeah, have things calmed down a bit since the election's over and all that stuff?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I think the combination of the protests happening over the summer and the pandemic, it's just like downtown is just dead.
Yeah,
There's just nothing going on,
right.
which I guess is expected in a pandemic. But everything's still, a lot of places that got boarded up are still boarded up. So it's just like dreary
Yeah.
to go downtown. Otherwise, things are great.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
other than this, the still post-apocalyptic feel down there, it's doing okay, better than what it was. But no, that's cool. I mean, be awesome if this pandemic finally lightens up and people can travel. I mean, we'd like to come see you out there before you do finish your residency out there. You know.
Heck yeah.
Heck
Heck
yeah. Heck yeah. When do you finally start looking, when do you start deciding or have to start looking for other places to go? You have some time?
I'm thinking about doing 2 fellowships that over 2 years after. So I've been looking for the second one because that's more like trying to find a job.
Yeah.
But the first one is I want to do a pediatric neurosurgery fellowship. So that's on what's called a match system. It's like similar to how I got into residency, where you like apply to like a bunch of places and they select you for interviews and you go on interviews and then you rank those programs and they rank you, and then there's this computer that matches you and tells you where you're going to go.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like swiping right or swiping left.
Yeah, I mean, it's like just a little bit more complicated version of that. It's like Tinder for doctor training.
Oh my
Yeah, right.
gosh.
That's how
Just
I ended up here.
Yeah, right.
just
Jeez.
recently, one of my friends, her daughter is looking into schools, and she says that she wants to do dermatology, and Wayne State was one of the places that they looked into before applying. And apparently they only allow so many applications, and then they only let so many people into the actual program.
Yeah.
And what did you say? It was like 3 people
Yeah, it was like 3 people like get into the school with the program.
of dermatology.
Yeah, for my neurosurgery residency, it's only my when I got in, there's only 2.
Wow.
In Oregon, there's only 1 neurosurgery program in the state, so there's literally 2 neurosurgery residents at the time when I got in.
Wow.
We
Wow.
increased it to 3 since then, but most neurosurgery programs are 2, some are 3. There's only a couple that are 4, but there's also a couple that are just 1.
Wow.
Jeez. That's wild. Because I was trying to remember if because I'm sure you had told me that, but it had been so long, and I was trying to remember because I'm like, well, my friend, and I'm talking about you and what you kind of went through with school and stuff, and I couldn't get exactly the number right, but she was just talking about dermatology and the program there anyway, but just kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure it's similar for them. It's competitive and it's a smaller specialty.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you done any training on the what they call it, is it the the Da Vinci or the Magellan robotic arm surgical machine, where you it's like it's almost like a video game. You put those things on your hands and then you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I don't know what Magellan is, but I know what the Da Vinci robot is.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
But that's for like general surgeons.
Oh, okay.
Mostly doing like laparoscopic abdominal surgery.
Yeah.
I think some people have found other weird applications for it, but there's nothing for neurosurgery. What we have in neurosurgery that's akin to that, it's not at that level of like sitting down in a weird virtual reality suite where you're controlling that. Like the Da Vinci robot is like you have these fingers in these weird slots.
Yeah, right.
That manipulates the different tools that are on the laparoscopic set.
Yeah.
But for neurosurgery, what we have for like functional neurosurgery, like placing electrodes in the brain for deep brain stimulation or for epilepsy monitoring.
Yeah.
One of the there's a few of them, but one of the more famous ones is called the Rosa robot. It was made in France. It's I can't remember what Rosa stands for. It's like something operative, something assistant. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just called the Rosa robot, and basically all it is, it's a servo robotic arm.
Okay.
It's called a robot, but it's dumber than what your brain might envision a robot to be.
Yeah, right.
It's basically just like it has a stereotactic system, which is like a thing that the head gets fixed into a frame.
Mm-hmm.
So the machine knows where the head is.
Yeah.
And it has your images. So then it matches your images to your head in virtual space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the computer knows where the head is, knows where the brain is. You can plan out trajectories where you want to put the electrodes. And then it basically, like the arm sets a trajectory for you. So through a tool on the arm, you'll like drill a hole in the skull and then place the electrode.
Wow.
And that's basically all it does.
Right. That's crazy.
So it just helps you be really accurate in the
precise
placement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Precision.
But everything else is done by hand.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I like the analog experience myself too. Yeah. So remember last time we spoke about you were studying a little bit of what Elon Musk is doing with Neuralink. Well, I guess did you read about how they've recently put the Neuralink in a chimpanzee or a monkey's brain, and they've been teaching it how to play video games with its mind?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you got to look that up, dude. It's crazy. I mean, we're getting that much closer to just, I don't know, a crazy world. I don't know, but yeah, that's the latest. Other than him trying to fire billionaires off into outer space lately. So that's the other thing.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
some all civilian space flight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I haven't looked into more what Elon Musk is doing. I sure as hell am not going to be one of the first volunteers for that stuff.
No, that's for sure.
No,
yeah, especially based on what you talked about last time.
That is just too crazy.
Yeah.
Like we did talk about that last time about, was it chimpanzee and then was it a pig? I think?
Yeah. Erik said he started with
Right.
pigs, right? And then the removable, you become if you have it in your brain for a certain amount of time, whatever, and you remove it, you've grown accustomed or dependent on using it.
Yes.
And you're going to feel a sense of loss, like almost like losing an appendage or something like that. You're going to, they're saying that you don't experience any kind of loss, but you don't know. They don't know that yet until it's actually.
Yeah, we don't know that
until it's in a human being, and
then
then
you're literally using it all the time.
Yeah, right.
You would miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, especially if it was hooked up in a way to where you were actually using it to make, something happen more efficiently, whether it's a work task or something like that, and then you were to
It's
have
kind
it
of like
removed. Yeah, you would feel loss. I don't know.
So both of these concepts are like, once you do it, you really can't go back. Like,
yeah, I mean, think of like when you use when you were growing up playing video games.
Yeah.
When you were playing your friends N64, going back to home and playing your regular 8-bit Nintendo just felt super lame.
Yeah, right.
right, exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and then I don't know, maybe the people that go to Mars, they're like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm not coming back to back to Earth. That's
I don't know.
Super messed up.
Yeah, I just want to see more, the same amount of attention and effort paid to trying to fix this planet versus trying to leave it, right?
Yeah. Well, sure. I agree. Some people, I don't know, maybe someone out there is really into that. I'm not sure who it is. I haven't talked to that person yet, but
I'm sure there is, man. Every interest exists.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everybody wants it.
So what's the coolest? Let's switch subjects. What's the coolest meal that you guys have eaten on the island so far?
We haven't really gone out to eat. We actually, when we first arrived, we went straight to Costco.
Yeah.
Because our room has a kitchen, so I've been cooking a lot.
Oh, cool.
I made some really good steaks.
All right, there you go. Right on.
One thing we're gonna make a point to do tomorrow, though, is there's this place on the grounds called the Gazebo that is famous or whatever for macadamia nut pancakes.
Oh wow.
We're planning to get those in the morning. Otherwise, we haven't really gone a lot of places to try to get fancy food.
Yeah.
So my steaks were the best thing.
Good.
Well, it's been so long since I did the whole Hawaii trip, but I was eating at least chicken then, and the fish tacos were absolutely amazing, like the mahi mahi. But I mean, they might not have a lot of roadside little it was almost like a food truck, but food trucks weren't even really a big thing then either. But out there they had some special stuff kind of set up, and I can remember it was this marinated teriyaki chicken, and it was absolutely amazing. At the because at the time, like I said, I was eating chicken, and I tried to recreate both of those. No, it was a fail.
It's just not the same.
No, it was not the same at all.
Yeah.
We had mahi mahi at the little restaurant next to our place. I wouldn't say it was the best thing ever. It was really good though.
Was it?
And I had fish tacos at a outdoor bar a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Has any of the locals called you Howley yet? No.
Or at least I didn't hear it.
Yeah. Maybe the next set you try to catch out in the water, you'll cut off a local and you'll get some shit for it.
Yeah, there was someone who was being super lame to us yesterday when we were exploring around, and there was this like trail that was supposed to lead to like a surf beach, and we were walking down the trail and came across these two people, and the lady turned to us and said, there's no trail from here. And I looked at her feet, and there was like definitely a little trail. It was just covered. And then we just walked away because we were like, whatever. And then we watched them go down the trail.
Oh, yeah.
So they were trying to like hide something from us.
Sure.
I thought it was super weird.
Yeah.
Sure.
We debated about going down the trail in spite of them and like having a confrontation. We didn't.
Yeah. That's good.
We got coconuts instead.
Nice.
Right
That's
on.
good. Yeah. It was probably a local that, trying to deter you away.
It's not going to work though.
No. I'm too curious. I'm
You
going
can't
to go.
hide things in like the 21st century. Like,
Yeah,
I can look
exactly.
at a map and zoom in and be like, oh, there's a spot.
Yep.
Well, that's sort of like those books. I mean, that was kind of a confrontation too, because the couple that wrote these books, they revealed everything, and you just had
You
to
can
have the
find
book.
it out there. Anyone who's pretending that they can hide some awesome spot, I mean, they're just fooling themselves.
Right.
Yeah, the only thing I can say about that fishbowl spot was, I think, because I looked it up on YouTube, I was kind of curious about it and was thinking about it. This has even been a while, but I think it was kayakers that kind of ruined the reef. Whoa, what kind of bird was that?
I don't know. Kind of cool though.
Yeah,
Hanging
it
out
did.
over there.
That's awesome.
I'm in this spot with this amazing view. We're at a distillery. So my girlfriend is going to some like little thing where they're going to teach her how they make vodka.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Nice.
And so I'm just sitting out here. So I'm planning to get drunk after we hang up.
There you go.
It's
That's my
this
boy.
awesome
Show us the view. Can you do a pan?
Yeah, do a quick pan.
Oh yeah. All right, there's my picnic table.
Right on.
Nice.
Can you see out there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
So is that Molokai, what we're looking at right now?
That's just the western side of the island. So I'm on the eastern
Oh, okay.
side. We went up to Maui, if I'm saying the word right. It's a volcano with a national park on top.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
So we just we went to like a wine tasting on the mountain, and then right before I came back down to meet you guys, we went up to the very top.
Mm-hmm.
It was like above the clouds,
Yeah.
and then drove down here to this distillery.
Oh, cool.
Cool. That's awesome. So cool.
Yeah, it's like going up and down the mountain. Like it was like I don't even know what to call all the different climates we drove through. Like there was jungle, there was a rainforest that looked very similar to the Pacific Northwest. There was like we were in a cloud for a long time. I couldn't see anything. There was like deserty stuff, and then when we got to the very top, there was snow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bike ride down the volcano, I remember that it was snow at the very top, so they shuttle you up with the bike, and then it's like you just peel layers off as you ride your
As
bike
you go
down.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything you have to do, you have to get started early.
Go up. We actually had it set up so that our wine tasting thing was going to be in the early afternoon. So we were going to try to go up to the national park in the morning, but I guess it was icy or something like that. And they said there was some down power line. So they had the road closed off once we got up there to the national park. So we just came back down and went to the wine tasting. But
All right on.
Gotcha.
So did you guys rent a car?
yes,
Oh, okay, cool.
that was critical.
Whatever you do, do not speed. You have to follow the speed limit. It's very strict on those islands, from what I've heard.
That was
My manager Nico Vardis, and here in the neighborhood, we live in the same neighborhood. He got a pretty gnarly speeding ticket. Him and his wife were over there, and yeah, they're not too kind to visitors on the speeding tip. So be
Yeah,
careful.
I'm sure, and there's probably lots of people that act like jerks all the time.
And it's not
But
cheap either.
I've been sticking to 5 over. I haven't been pulled over.
All right, well, watch it, man. It's
At home, I usually do 15.
It's not cheap from what I've heard. So
Have you seen the town or gone through the town Paia?
We went through it. We didn't stay, but yeah.
That's an interesting town.
Yeah, it seemed like a cool little spot, and I've heard a lot of good things. And right near there is Jaws, the big wave surf spot.
Yes, yes.
We were thinking about maybe going over there tomorrow, but we probably don't have enough time because the waves are going to be big again. But I guess like a week ago, they were like 70 feet or something.
Oh my
that people were saying.
Yeah, that must be the hot spot then for surfing at this time, probably because of the east side of the island. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it seems like there's more waves on the east side than
Yeah.
on the side that we're staying.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice. In the water, it's just probably like blue, like ice blue.
Yeah, it's super clear. Like, snorkeling is just so cool. Like, you just
Yeah, right.
put your face in the water. It's like, whoa, there's fish everywhere.
Yeah, I haven't done snorkeling since then, but I've fantasized about it.
Yeah, and when I was surfing on Tuesday, like I could see the bottom through the wave. I could see if there was rocks or something like that.
Yeah. That is so cool. You know what? Now I remember why I was thinking about a paddleboard and like snorkeling, because when we first moved back to Michigan, which has been a while now, but we went up north, and that up north on the west side of the state, like up into Petoskey, and we went to the state park there, and I hadn't been over there in forever when we finally went when we moved back. And there was stones everywhere. And I was like, oh, I didn't have my paddleboard. And I was like, it would be so cool if you had your paddleboard and then you were snorkeling for like the Petoskey stones. Such a dork, but like that's what made me think of it. And then I never got to do it because it was like, I don't know, we didn't go back the next year or, whatever. But yeah, it's just a weird like fascination, because I was like, well, there's not really any good snorkeling here, but maybe I can make it happen with like some stone searching. Have my board available, and then if I find anything, I just put it on top of the board.
Nice.
Yeah, you can go fishing off your board and then come in later with like dead fish on your board.
Yeah, yum.
That is, well, they actually have you ever seen these like crazy setups for fishing? They actually have like a seat, almost like, it's almost like they just put a trolling motor like on the board, and then there's a seat and like coolers and like things are strapped down. I mean, it's like serious.
Yeah, it's a fishing board, fishing paddle board. Pretty crazy.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a brand that they sell a ton of accessories for.
Yeah, Bodie brand.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Yep. Is there any cool people out there doing any paddleboarding or any?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's usually there's certain areas that seem like they're always flat, and there'll be a bunch of people paddleboarding. And when I was surfing, there were a couple guys paddleboarding around and catching waves with them.
Yeah,
Right
that's
on.
so cool.
Yeah.
That's the first time I saw paddleboarding, actually, was when I was, ironically, in a way, the paddleboarding and yoga. Where I was staying, you could walk downstairs and you could just actually snorkel from the spot that I was staying at. So I didn't have to even go very far. But next door, I looked over and I'm like, what are those people doing in there? And it was really early, but it was this door opening out to the ocean. So the ocean was their backdrop, and they were doing yoga. And so that was the first time I saw yoga and paddleboarding. And it kind of took me a while to find all of those things here in Michigan.
Yeah. So we're vicariously living through you right now as I look out our back window and it's snowing right now. It's 3 to 4 inches of snow happening, and you're in beautiful Hawaii. So we're doing the vicarious vacation through you. So
Yeah, it's been great here. And right before we left, a few days before, it snowed in Portland.
Yeah.
So it was like the timing
Oh.
was just perfect.
Oh, right on.
Like, yes.
Yeah, Audi.
Oh, it's so nice.
You're not going to want to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about maybe trying to come here every year, try to make it a once a year thing.
Yeah.
I would not mind.
Yeah. So what's your new girlfriend's name?
Zoe.
Zoe? That's a cool name.
That is a cool name. I like it.
Right on. Well, we hope to meet her soon someday.
How did you guys meet?
Through some research stuff that we do at the hospital.
Nice.
Yeah. Awesome. So she's at the same hospital as you?
Yeah.
Sweet. That's cool. Nice. Well, you look good. You look like you're I would have never passed you off as a doctor right now. I would say he's a surfer in Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. You're that way when you're in Portland anyway.
When I was volunteering at the vaccination clinic,
Yeah.
the nurse that I was with told this one car of people that I was a doctor, and then they were all like, "Wow, I've never had a doctor do anything for me before."
That's so
when
funny.
I think about it, I don't think a lot of doctors like volunteer very often, at least not in front of regular people.
Yeah, right.
I think there's something to that. I mean, I don't know. You have to give your opinion about it, because I sort of feel like you might be a 1%er where you surf and you have all these interests of being outdoors, and whether somebody.
Yeah, right.
I hear some lady yelling at somebody. You're so cute. She's like yelling at somebody else's dog. From far away.
Nice.
Perfect. But I know, I think, well, and because I don't have any other really doctor friends, I would think like you might be a 1%er on how you spend your time like outside of your professional interest, right?
I think among the people I work with, for the most part, yes. But for med school, I have a lot of friends that are really outdoorsy. Like I have a couple friends that live in Seattle. They hiked portions of the Pacific Coast Trail. They live on a sailboat right now.
Oh my gosh.
I have a couple other friends who are emergency medicine doctors in Portland, and one of the two of them did like a fellowship in like mountaineer medicine in I think Utah or something.
Yeah.
And they've traveled all over the place.
Would you want to do something like that? Like, I don't know, just something kind of extreme where maybe you take a project on your own and research and study and while you're traveling, or?
Yeah, I guess that'd be fun, but it'd be more recreational. I don't know how much, like that stuff's more like being like emergency medical doctors, like they could conceivably like make that part of their career. Whereas like in neurosurgery, not really sure how that fits in.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of like trauma, but anyone with a bad enough trauma to need like a neurosurgeon probably needs to be in a big hospital, so they're going to get flown there.
Yeah, true.
Wow. I can't remember if we ever, I'm sure we did when we maybe came out to see you, and we told the story about a brain aneurysm, someone that we know, and how they actually survived it and, you know, made it through with a lot of help, like a lot of surgery and therapy. And I mean, I think Jeremy knows more about it than I really do, but I think we kind of just shared that story on him and like how crazy that was. I mean, he survived. Yeah.
And the key of the survival was the fact that his house is literally almost across the street from the hospital. So if he was in a rural area, you know, and away from a long distance, you know, would have been key. He probably wouldn't have made it, but because he was so close within the vicinity of a large hospital, he was able to make it. And then when they discovered what it really was, which was the aneurysm, they flew him right away to the Royal Oak Beaumont Hospital, where they, you know, have more of a specialized setup there. And But yeah, very interesting to see the whole process and how somebody goes through that, and it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Mad respect to people like you that want to do that kind of stuff, and right? It's pretty wild.
It's
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, I'm like I always just ask myself, how did what was the intriguing part of going into wanting to study the brain, and for you, what attracted you to that specialty?
My epilepsy history is kind of the origin.
Okay.
Just over the years, the brain is like the coolest thing, and getting involved in surgery just only made it more and more interesting. Like now, it not only is like intriguing, like functionally, like because we don't really know how it works,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also beautiful.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite things in surgery is like when we take the bone off and then you see the tough covering over the brain.
Yeah.
Called the dura mater.
Mm-hmm.
If you peel that off really carefully, there is another covering right underneath it that's called the arachnoid matter,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like translucent. And so if you have it intact and you peel the tough layer off, and you can see the brain through it, and it's like magnified, kind of like, and it's in its natural state, surrounded by fluid.
Yeah.
With like all these tiny little blood vessels like floating and pulsating. That's like one of the coolest things to see, and it's something you just do in like a routine surgery.
Okay.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
So so you're looking at that live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And did they have like a video camera that's kind of recording or making it larger? So I'm just trying to imagine this. Like, how does this look?
You can, and usually after you do that part is when you say we're gonna remove a brain tumor. Usually it's after that part that you bring in like the operative microscope, which like zooms in and has a video camera and whatnot. But up to that point, you're doing it all under we wear these eyeglasses called loupes.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically eyeglasses that have a little magnifying glass on them. It's
Right.
not really intense, but it makes things a little bit bigger. And I don't know that this is true with other specialties, but at least in neurosurgery, like we're trained to operate with loupes on all the time.
Right.
But at that point where you take that dura off, there's no microscope. It's just your loupes, and yeah, just that's it.
Wow.
Now, here's a good thing that could tie into your yoga, Misty. Is there a level of meditation or any kind of meditative practices that you have to go through to practice and make sure that your handwork, you have real steady handwork and steadiness to your procedures and your operations?
I don't. Although I can see how it would be helpful. However, it's hard to fit that kind of stuff in when you're like a resident in the thick of it and like not sleeping enough. Like it's pretty much constant.
Yeah.
Like your meditation is just when you get a chance to go home and sleep, you go do that.
Right.
That's meditation.
Yeah.
Through different parts of my residency, I've had issues with irritability, like ways that are not very expected, at least for myself. Like I didn't necessarily expect that of myself.
Yeah.
But obviously, I find when you push me to my limit, and I'm sleep deprived pretty consistently, like I become a lot less tolerant. I know that about me now.
Right.
So I'm like thinking about going into my chief year where things are going to be like that again. I think I've learned, or at least I hope that I've learned ways to be more, I guess, mindful when I'm just in the moment. Because I've had a lot of there's like on the hospital campus, there's these like certain like meditation like group classes that happen at certain times, and I've always tried in my mind, I was like, I'm going to try to do that this Wednesday, but it never works.
Right.
Like we're just too busy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we have to come up with some way of dealing with these things on our own.
Gotcha.
So I guess my way has just been to try to just like recognize when I'm getting there and to try to back off. sometimes just there's too much going on and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to regulate yourself and your responses to other people all the time when it's just so constant,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
So I mean, no, not in a way that I think that you're imagining, where I like sit in the corner and cross my legs or something.
Right.
Definitely not in any overt way like that. And I don't know any residents who are able to squeeze that in. But I did in my operative year last year, I did download the Headspace app, and I would try most nights before I went to bed, do like a 5-minute thing with some kind of guided meditation thing. That was pretty much the extent of it. Otherwise, just trying to have the mindset of like just being more aware of myself and how I'm feeling, and more intentional with the things I do.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that when it comes to surgery and being aware of every step that you're going through, so that they don't become routine and you turn into like a zombie, like you're driving your car. But when it comes to social interactions that can be tied to emotions, it's harder when you're just like dead.
Yeah. Right.
You're already dead.
Yeah. No, I
don't think I'm not the only resident that struggles with these kinds of things.
Right. No.
It's just tough.
Yeah. No, we're not machines.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not. Right. Can see that, I could see that for sure. Like that. I mean, it would be self-discipline, but that's not even really enough because of just what you're saying, that it's just super chaotic. And I mean, I think it's cool that you can, at least when you get the chance to go away and surf on the weekends, or, and I don't know, I'm not even sure actually if that's every weekend for you, but, at least you can get away and do that and get you outside and breathe some fresh air.
Yeah, my second year residency, like that's what got me through it.
Yeah.
I was off on average every other weekend, and I surfed almost every single one of them.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was thinking about that not long ago, because I'm on my research year now, so I get to go all the time, like almost whenever I want. But I was walking down one of the trails to the short sand beach.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I still appreciate this, but it's not like when I was in my second year. Like, I didn't even need to surf. Like, just walking down the trail
was enough.
Like with the intention of surfing and being in the forest.
Yeah.
Not being like surrounded by 4 walls and everything looks the same everywhere I go. And staring at computer screens.
Yeah.
Like, just walking that quarter-mile trail through the woods to get to the beach was like, it was like when I got out of my car and got on the trail, that was like when I started breathing.
Right. Wow.
Otherwise, I felt like I was like metaphorically holding my breath the whole time.
Sure. I was actually going to ask you that question next. Like, do you forget to breathe?
It's not intentional breathing. It's whatever my brainstem is telling me I need.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if there's a way you can at least just start to implement a little bit more of the intentional breathing, like equalize the breath, the inhale, and then match the exhale on the way out.
Yeah. I got to come up with some strategies like that. Maybe I'll consult you in a couple months before I get started.
Yeah. Just maybe I'm just planting the seed of that, and then it'll start to grow.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the major things I'm worried about my chief year. Like, it's not the surgery. Like, I can learn that, and like the flow of the OR, whatnot, and going to bed late and getting up early, or sometimes just not sleeping at night. Like, those things I can do that, but it's like maintaining like a level head all the time.
Sure.
That's what gets really hard. And like I like to imagine that I've learned enough through residency that I so when I was in my last year of med school, right before finishing, I went to the Cleveland Clinic, and I did like a second look at their neurosurgery program. And I remember just for something to keep me like moving through the day, they paired me with one of their chief residents at the time. And I don't know if he was like this all the time, but I always remember his demeanor. He was so so calm. And he was like, I remember watching him doing surgery. It was epilepsy surgery, taking out a part of the brain. And he was like so smooth. He just seemed to know like every step, knew exactly what he was doing, and didn't seem like someone who like got pissed off, like just rolled with it. At least that's how he seemed the one day that I was with him. And I've always tried to imagine that I would be like that. I don't actually think that I'm capable of it, but I want to try.
Yeah. You know what it might be, Erik? It might be he might be a practitioner of Tai Chi.
Maybe he does Tai Chi. I don't know.
It's interesting anyway, because like I mentioned, that other doctor, Dr. Angus, and actually I don't even really know a ton about him, but it was in the radio show, so I was listening to him, and they were commenting about him and that he had this calm demeanor, and it was just a calm voice, very soothing. And so when he was describing the vaccine and just telling everyone it's going to be okay, and just you should definitely get the vaccine and all of this stuff. It was just interesting because they were, definitely commenting about his voice, and then he comes on, and I'm like, oh my God, they're right. He's describing everything, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what this guy does, like, in his extra time. Because they actually, what their perception was of him, bringing him into the show, his intro, that they say he researches all the time. All he's doing is reading. He's reading all night, and we don't actually know when he sleeps, but he has a super calm voice. It's kind of funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, one thing I've been trying to do I've been doing it for almost a year, except this vacation, of course, is I have this stack of like neuroscience and neurosurgery oriented books, and I've been reading at least 10 pages every day. And because like when you go through like education stuff, you only remember like, I don't know, 5% of whatever you read. So like I felt like I've been going through residency, and I've learned a lot, of course, but there's still so much. And last year I was like, well, how am I ever going to be like really knowledgeable if like I don't remember everything? So, but I've been finding that this like 10 pages is like very doable, but it's enough that like you're actually covering something for a little bit. Yeah. And I've definitely been like retaining more information because I'm going through certain topics over and over because I'm like reading different books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
What kind of books are they?
They're like textbooks.
Okay.
Or like books that are written by like experts in the field. Like I read this handbook of pain surgery. So the different kinds of neurosurgery is oriented towards treating pain. Or like a textbook on like pathology of like neuropathology for like different kinds of tumors that happen around your brain and skull. And I had one book that I went through like 3 times that was just doing the neuro exam for like different peripheral nerves that control different muscle groups and stuff, and sensation, like what spinal levels different things are coming from. Yeah, a bunch of different books, all neuro related, of course.
Nice.
Cool.
Well,
yeah, we're at an hour, buddy. We did. We pulled an hour.
We got
That's
an
pretty
hour
good.
Out, so I mean, I don't want to cut you off, of course, but
yeah, with the sun shining on his face.
I think this. I think this the fact that the sun is shining. And what time is it? What time is it there now?
It's just past 4:30.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of vodka and then let that settle. Then we're gonna go back to our place and get in the water and see some sea turtles.
Cool.
Oh,
awesome.
Did you like it? Was it weird enough?
Oh yeah, that was pretty good. It's
it was
classic.
Weird enough.
Yeah.
And very fitting. This fog will lift soon. I hope. I get it.
Yeah.
You like how there's a sign there that says "Amazing View."
Yeah, right.
Amazing view, and you're like, huh.
Yeah, sure.
I can't see anything.
Can't see shit.
Can't see anything. We have no idea what's going on.
Cool.
What's out there? Well, have fun, and it's always good. It's always good to talk to you. But I'm glad you fit this in your little bit of your vacation time here to share some palm trees and sun and just
glorious views.
Yeah. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being super flexible.
Yeah.
I like hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, I like
for
hanging
sure.
out with you, especially on your vacation. See, now I feel like I'm there. And then I'm going to turn around and look at the snow.
Yeah, then we're going to look outside and look at the snow. Yeah, awesome.
Well, thanks for coming on. I'm so glad you made it happen, and all the stuff that you do share, we appreciate it.
Right, for sure. See you later.
Yeah,
All right,
see
peace
ya.
out.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in, watching, listening. Please rate and review. I would thoroughly enjoy a rate, a review, a like, a subscribe on YouTube. Check it out. It's the Luna Moon Sup Yoga channel, and I'm doing the visual part of this audio part. And actually, the videos are turning out really cool. It's not just us talking. We pop in a lot of photography work, any shared photos on the subject at hand. So this podcast, episode number 8, I hope you guys enjoyed. Really enjoying doing the podcast. If you feel like you want to participate and be a guest, this is a guest type podcast. Hit me up on mistymarcum.com. And thanks again for watching or listening.